Hi garden friends, welcome to the channel. I'm Era and this is Gardening on Purpose. I garden in Georgia, Zone 8A. For today's video, I will be showing you what I've recently bought in preparation of go time. February is a very busy month for me. This is when I buy a lot of stuff. This is why you see me go to the stores a lot and pick up what I have to get for the season. I'm inside of the screened-in porch because it's a little bit chilly today, but I wanted to show you what I've picked up recently for the garden. First up is fertilizer. I use different types of fertilizers in my yard depending on what the plant is. So here I use Dr. Earth for my edible plants. And this guy here, I've used it for a couple of years. It does really great. I have no complaints about it. I got this from Walmart, I believe, for $7.98. This is a 222 blend, and it's great. This one package here says it's great to feed 90 square feet or 24 large plants. As you know, I grow my edible plants in grow bags. I've done that for the last 4 years, and they've done the actual grow bags have held up. I bought them from Amazon. I bought a 30 pack or a 20 pack of a 5-gallon and a 10 pack of a 7-gallon, and they have weathered the storm. With all the storms and the snow and the heat and the critters and everything, the grow bags are still standing. So I've definitely this year I will be back to grow bags again. And then for the other ones, I actually use rose tone. You guys know I love roses, and I have a lot of roses, and roses are really heavy feeders. For them to give you all these beautiful blooms, they really need to feed them, and I use rose tone for mine. Rose tone is not just for roses. You can use it for any other flowering plant, but I just specifically use it for roses. These are part of the Espoma brand that when I first started gardening, that's what I use. And I know that people have their preferences of what they use. I just use Espoma because it's done well for me. And then we have the plant tone. This is the original. This is the very first one I bought, and I use it everywhere. In the vegetable garden, roses, shrubs, trees, and you can, because it actually says that. It says that it's the original organic for flowers, vegetables, trees, and shrubs. But then, like I said, I just kind of veered off and used other things because as gardeners, you want to try something new. But this guy here is the original and the best, and I use this for the rest of the flowers in the garden. Finally, I have Garden Tone, which I supplement my Dr. Earth with. This one here is great for herb and vegetable food. It says that it has bigger, abundant harvest, and it's ideal for all herbs and vegetables. So I'll be using this in combination with Dr. Earth because the Dr. Earth plastic bag, let me just see, it's not as big as the Espoma. This one, it says that it's 3 pounds, and this one is 4 pounds. So you get a little extra pound here for an extra $2. So this is, again, I've used this before and it works quite fine. Next up is a few lamb's ear. Now, if you've been watching my channel for a while, you know I really like this plant. And it has done well for me for the last 3.5 years. But last year, for whatever reason, every lamb's ear that I had in my yard died. But the thing is, I had only bought 2 lamb's ear back in 2021, right? And that mound got bigger and bigger. I divided it. I moved it all over the yard, and they thrived. But in 2024, I don't know what happened. It's just like every lamb's ear that I had moved all over the yard just died on me. So you might see a video of them last year in one of my tour videos, but you might have noticed that you don't see them in the tour videos lately or in 2024, anything after July, because they just died. And I meant to do a video about plants who didn't make it for 2025, and this just happens to be one of them. And you might see some lavender in another video coming up soon where this is where the lamb's ear were, and they just all died. But I like the plants so much I had to go back and get them. They're already at Home Depot, and you might have seen them in a Home Depot February plant inventory video. This one here is $7.98. It is hardy to -30. It grows 12 to 18 inches high. It is a perennial that requires full sun, and it does so well in my yard, guys. I I never thought I would have to buy lamb's ear again because I divided and divided and divided, and they just did well. And then something happened, and I really don't know what it is. Could be a disease, it could be, but the fact that I had them spread all over the yard and every last one of them died, I'm thinking it's a disease, but I had to go get the plant. Now, when I had mine for the last 4 years, it never bloomed. It spread, the clump got bigger and bigger and bigger, but it never actually bloomed. This is saying it blooms in the early to late summer. Not sure what they're talking about. Oh, I'm not sure if this is the exact same one I had. It looks like it is. This one looks exactly like the one I had before, but I just had to go pick it up. It's not going to go in clearance anytime soon, and I really need this plant in the yard. So I got 3 of those, and again, they were $7.98. Next up, we've got some beautiful roses. Now, if you might have seen a video of mine not too long ago where I was at Walmart showing you all the varieties that they had. And I love these roses because they're only $9.97. I've done this for the last 3 years and buying a couple of roses here and there, and they really do perform well in my yard. I'm going to stick with what I know. You might have seen a video of mine where I went to Lowe's and showed you their roses. I went to Ollie's and showed you their roses. And I also went to Home Depot. But I ultimately ended up buying the roses from Walmart because that's what I usually do anyway. So let's see the varieties that I have. One of the reasons I ended up getting all these roses, guys, is because I intend to cut down an oak tree. And once I cut that oak tree down, it's going to really open me up to a lot of sunshine in the garden. So first up, we have Tiffany. Tiffany is a beautiful, looks like it's pink and white. Now, I haven't grown any of these except for one, which is, I can say what it is because you already see it in my video. It's the Oklahoma Rose. That's the only one out of what I bought recently that I already have. These are all brand new to me. So obviously I'm going by the picture and the fact that it is fragrant, but let me know if you have any of these roses. I know a few of you have done that already in my video where I was showing you all the roses at Walmart, but this beautiful thing here is, I picked it up because of the way it looks and also because it's fragrant. Now, when you're looking at your roses, make sure that you can see new growth on the canes. See right there, you want to make sure you have new growth so you know the plant is alive. Because sometimes, and I've heard people say that, when they buy their roses and they bring it home and then they put it in the ground, nothing ever happens. And that's because there's probably no life there because it's been dug up, it was transported, it's been sitting in Walmart, and then it's been freeze and thawed, and then by the time you take it home, it's no longer a good rose to have. Now, when I get these roses, I put them in my unheated garage until I'm ready to plant them. So that's Tiffany. Another rose that I picked up, but for whatever reason, I missed it during the actual video. This is Euphoria. And it is a beauty. This guy here is hardy from zones 4 to 9, and it has a slight fragrance. I really like this plant. Really good looking rose, and the canes are all budded up. You can see all that new growth, that new foliage right there. That's what you're looking for when you're choosing your roses, no matter where you are, whether it's at Lowe's, Home Depot, Walmart, Ollie's, Tractor Supply, wherever it is you go and buy your roses, you want to see life. Next up, we have, I heard some really good things about this one. This one is Belinda's Dream. A couple of you have mentioned that you grow this and it does well. I'm really happy about that. Even though it's a floribunda, I like floribundas. I like hybrid teas because I like to cut flowers and bring them in. The difference with floribunda, well, this particular Belinda's Dream, is that it only has 2 canes. And I try, when I look at my roses and I try to pick them up, I try to actually have them have at least 3 or 4 canes so that when I'm pruning it, let's say I bought this with 5 canes. When I prune it down to 3 because you want airflow in the roses. You want it not to be, having these canes actually cross each other. But the good thing, this was the best one I could find, guys, and it only had 2. But I can see that new growth, and that gave me hope right there. The cane looks nice and healthy. Also check your canes, make sure they're actually green. Do that scratch test, like scratch it right here, and make sure it's actually green so you know this thing is actually alive. Okay, I also picked up Sunsprite. Sunsprite is a yellow rose. Again, let me know if you have any of these. This guy is fragrant. I just love fragrant roses. I know they are pretty, but I think with me, you get me if you actually smell nice. So Sunsprite is a yellow roses, and I think I remember somebody in the comments said that they have not have good luck with yellow roses. It always is something going on with the roses, and then it died or it had a bunch of stuff on it. So that might be a thing. I don't know what the deets are when it comes to yellow roses, but I'm gonna try Sunsprite and see how it goes. This guy here is hardy from zone 6 to 9, and look at Sunsprite's growth. All those bud looking things here, it's a sign that the plant is alive. All right, after Sunsprite, we have Oklahoma. And like I mentioned, Oklahoma is the one rose out of this batch that I already have. And I did not mind getting it again because it does really, and it sure does look like that, guys. It really does. Now, if you've been following me for a while, you know my favorite rose is Mr. Lincoln, simply because those blooms are huge. They smell magnificent, and it's a very vigorous grower. So I love Mr. Lincoln. Surprisingly, did not see any Mr. Lincolns at Walmart. I think I saw it at Tractor Supply, and I think I saw it maybe at Home Depot. I don't remember. But in any case, this is Oklahoma. Oklahoma is hardy from zones 5 to 10. And let me see Oklahoma's growth. Now, it's not the one that's showing the most growth, but there is that green bud right there. And here's another one right there. And once I see that, I know we're good to go. Next up, we have this guy here. This is OL Weeks. Never seen this before that day I went to Walmart. And it's so funny, guys. Before 2020, I was not into roses. Maybe it's because I didn't have a yard. Maybe that's what it is, because I was in an apartment. But now I have a yard, I have a house, I have land, I have all this stuff. I'm just going crazy with these roses. But I just really, really took a liking to them. I know some people say roses are hard to grow. And the thing is, I don't expect my roses to all not have something going on in the foliage. I think a lot of folks get caught up in, oh, it has this on the leaves and this on the leaves. As long as you keep it in full sun with enough circulation between the plants and not with wet feet in an area that stays wet, and you actually feed the rose, that's been my formula. No wet feet, full sun, at least 3 feet apart, and feeding it does really, really well. But OL Weeks is hardy from zone 6 to 9 and is a beautiful deep red. Let me know if you have this plant. And especially since I bought these, I really want to know how you guys feel about these roses and how they do in your yard. Next up, we have Moonlight Magic. And as you know, I love lavender. I love anything purple-esque. And this guy was a beauty to me. It has 3 really nice canes. So, and you can see that new growth on it right there. So that's always a good sign. This guy here is also fragrant, which I love, and is hardy from zone 6 to 10. Another purple-esque one I have here is Blue Girl. I heard about Blue Girl, never seen it anywhere else except that day when I got it here from Walmart. It's a hybrid tea. It says lilac blue. Looks kind of purple to me in the flowers. But again, let me know if that's what it really looks like in your garden. This is really, really nice. And the canes are looking healthy. They're nice and green. Check. Make sure they're green. They're not brown or black. Black would be the worst. Like, you don't want your canes to be black. So long as you're seeing new growth and you're seeing stuff like that. Now, the longer I keep it and not put it in the ground, it's just going to keep growing new foliage on it. This is a time when you should plant your bare root roses in the ground. Here for me in zone 8A. I don't know exactly every zone, but I know in our zone over here, this is the perfect time to be planting bare root roses. All right, so next up we have Soul Desire. You've seen this one in the video. Soul Desire is a really nice deep yellow. I really like that. It has a mild fragrance and is hardy from zone 6 to 9. This one is the one that had the least going on in the foliage. This was the best one. And you know, I stood there and looked and looked and looked, and this was the best one. It only had 2 canes, but at least those 2 canes was showing some sort of a growth. Next up, we have Princess de Monaco. I really did pick this up because I think this is really, really nice. And I believe a couple of you also said in the comments that you actually plant this one and it really looks nice. This has a mild fragrance and is hardy from zone 7 to 10. And again, I'm checking. I always do this, and I know it might be a thing for some folks where, you know, they don't really, you know, pay attention too much to certain things in regard to rose. And especially since, you know, if they're only going to be $9.97, I'm still spending my money. So I want to really make sure I get good roses. So I always inspect these roses. This is Princess de Monaco. All right, what number are we at, guys? So far we've seen 2, 4, 6, 8, 9. Here comes Garden Party. This one, I struggled to find a better version of this. And I remember saying to myself, this is a beautiful sounding rose. But this was the best one I could find. This one here, I'm not seeing a lot of growth, but I'm seeing a little bit of bud right there. So I picked it up because this was the best one. Garden Party is a slight fragrance and hardy from zone 7 to 9, and that's what it looks like. And I think somebody also said that that's their experience with Garden Party in the stores too, like it didn't really look that great. So I don't know what the story with Garden Party is, but I was willing to risk it based on that. All right, next up we have Summer Sunshine. Summer Sunshine is another yellow. So I have Summer Sunshine, I have Soul Desire, and I have Sun Sprites. There's a lot of yellows going on, and I hope they really do well for me. This guy here is also a mild fragrance and hardy from zone 6 to 9. And again, a little bit of foliage growth going on there, right there. I'm really hoping for 100% success this year, guys, because the other ones that I bought, I have Mr. Lincoln, I have Della Reese, Oklahoma, Gold Glow, Gold Medal, Rio Samba, Love and Peace, and there's another one, Sundowner, and I also have Alfred Sisley, I believe. So I have a lot of roses in my yard, guys, and every last one of them are quite, and I actually also have Cathedral Bells, and they all do well. And that's why I keep going back to Walmart. Okay, so that was Summer Sunshine. Next up, we have Cardinal 85. This is a beautiful plant, and another one that only had 2 canes because, this is the best one I could find. This one is the only iffy one, but still being iffy, I still see foliage growth right there. You can see the buds right there. Also, there's Sentimental. I feel like this rose, I've seen this way more this year than I've ever seen it before. I see it everywhere. This plant is everywhere. Now, this reminds me of Marc Chagall and even Alfred Sisley with the whole painter looking thing. Some people don't like it, but I mean, I don't mind. It's a rose, and so long as it's fragrant, I'll get it, you know. This guy here is hardy from zones 4 to 9, and it's a beautiful plant. Let me know if you have Sentimental. Peak Performance is another one that looks really great. This one here has a mild fragrance and a beautiful red rose it will be. And the foliage is looking great. Well, not foliage, but the buds. I keep saying foliage because none of them have actually leafed out yet. But when I say foliage, I actually meant the buds that's about to be creating the foliage. That's going to see. And it's looking nice. This has a lot more canes than the rest of them. So I'll probably cut this back down to 3 for airflow. But it is looking nice and healthy. Finally, guys, I really broke and bought this Lavender Crush. I had good responses from you guys in the comments about Lavender Crush. And do I have space for this thing? No, but it's going to have to go in a container because this is a beautiful plant Really, really nice. And as you know, I mentioned in the video, I don't have any climbing roses. I was really tempted to buy that Joseph's coat, and I ended up didn't because I'm like, girl, why are you buying another climbing rose if you don't have anywhere to put it? I'd have to go buy a trellis. Went to Lowe's and looked at the trellis. They were selling trellises for $34 and $45. I don't know about that, but I ended up and broke and bought the Lavender Crush. Let me know if you have this in your yard, and I know some of you do because I've seen the comments and I've responded, I believe. But I really fell in love with this picture, and I'm really hoping that it will do well in my yard. And this one here is already beginning to leaf out. So that's what I have this for this video, guys. Just a whole bunch of roses that I ended up buying. I mean, it ended up being 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16 roses, guys. I'll be a quite busy gardener when it's time to plant these. But these are probably going to go in the ground maybe the first week in March because I have to cut the tree down and I have to move some of the plants that are already there and then find somewhere to put them and then put these roses in the ground. In the meantime, though, I will put these in the unheated garage, or I might put them in a box and leave them out here in the screened-in porch. So between my roses and my lamb's ear and all my fertilizers, let me know what you think, guys. Please like, please share, please subscribe. Remember to hit that notification bell so when I put out a new video, you'll be one of the first people to know. Thank you and have a great day. Bye-bye.